So please come in.
Oh, thank you. Wow.
Yes, we are in a great hall.
Yeah.
This is a memorial classroom of law faculty of the end of 19th century and beginning of 20th century. In this classroom studied two famous students in the history of our university. It's Leo Tolstoy and Vladimir Lenin.
Legendary.
Yes. All furniture you can see here is authentical. These tables are more than 100 years old.
Wow.
These bookshelves more than 120 years old.
These books?
Yes.
What are the collection?
It's a full collection of Russian laws. It was published in the middle of 19th century.
19th century
Yes.
ancient law books. Wow.
Yes. And in this classroom we have a gas light. These tubes were from gas. Yes, it was very progressive thing for the
Like
19th
this
century.
stuff, right?
Yes, and it was heating, Asian heating. Yes, they opened this small door and put wood. Yes, in this hole. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and we have a special place of professor.
Yeah.
He read his lectures in a sitting position, and these tables was for inspectors. They check the behavior of our students,
Wow.
and they check the main idea and plot of lecture, because lecture couldn't tell anything about revolution and some forbidden ideas.
Wow. It was a very political
Yes,
then.
yes, very political thing. Yes, in this classroom we have two memorial places. The first place is a place of Vladimir Lenin. When he was a student, he liked to sit here. And you can sit here too. Yes, it's
I'll just sit here for 1 second and feel it.
Feel yourself like a Lenin, yes. And another place is a place of Leo Tolstoy. When he was a student, he liked to sit here. Yes.
Writer from Russia.
Yes, yes. It's
This place?
Yes, it's a place of Leo Tolstoy. And in imperial times, we call this place like a small paradise, like a small heaven, because you can do everything what you want on this place.
Behind the table, at
Yes,
least.
yeah.
Please have a seat.
Okay. Thank you.
So, have you ever, in class in this room, or this is totally
It's the
museum?
only museum nowadays.
I
We didn't
see.
have, yes, educational process in it,
Yeah.
so.
When you come here, do you have more energy to study?
Of course, I have a great motivation for different researchers, yes.
That's a politically correct statement
Yes.
for a student. But having said that, though, I know there are so many students
Yes.
coming from the BRICS countries.
We have more than 12,000 students from foreign countries, from 100 countries from all over the world. And of course, we have Chinese students. We have about 2,000 Chinese students in our university. Some students from Brazil, some from South Africa, about more than 1,000 students from Iran, and of course from Latin America and Middle East, and yes,
Wow.
in other countries, of course.
What a melting pot.
Yes, and we now, our university on the second place of foreign students who studied in our university in Russian Federation.
I see. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What is your research area?
I'm interested in history of Russia and exactly in history of 19th century of our province, Kazan province.
That's a very turbulent but
Yes.
also exciting time, shall I put it that way?
Yes, and it's very interesting fact that some Chinese students studied on our department, on Department of Russian History, and they interested in relations between our two great civilizations. Yes.
And also other BRICS countries, they are also having students studying history,
Yes.
researching
Yes,
about
and
each other.
history, for example, students from Iran, they studied exactly on medical faculty. We wanted to be the best specialists in medical sphere. And for example, Brazil, they studied on international relations program. Yes, and we want to be the great specialists in diplomacy.
Yeah, the world is changing so fast. You're studying about the history,
Yes.
but actually the reason we study history is to be able to be smarter
Yes.
for the future, right?
Yes, yes.
So how do you think this kind of a student exchanges, including you and other students coming from BRICS
I think
countries, can
that's-
maybe learn from one another?
It's very important that I study, for example, I'm interested in some history of Latin America and culture of Latin America, or Chinese. I have a lot of great relations with Chinese students, yes. And of course, they interested in our culture. And we, because of these negotiations, because of these relations, we make a very great and peaceful future for our countries.
Do you think cooperation among the BRICS countries can bring more opportunities to the economy and also jobs for the young people?
I think that nowadays We have a lot of programs to change our education, to change our university, the BRICS countries. Of course, with China, we have a lot of Chinese universities, which we have some relations. Yes, and our students went to China a lot, and Chinese students came here and studied here in our universities. And these problems we have in another BRICS countries, with Brazil, South Africa, yes, of course, and Iran. Yes, we have great relations with Iran nowadays.
Our cultures, our history are so different from one another, right?
I don't think so, because...
Like Iran, Brazil,
no, I don't think so,
okay.
because I'm working in History Museum of Kazan University, and I have a lot of delegations from different countries. And when I took this excursion with some different delegations, I always prepared for this excursion, and I found a lot of mentions about different countries. For example, if we talk about China and Chinese relations with our university, our professor Vasily Vasilyev, in the middle of 19th century, he went to China, and he went in this country about 10 years, not 2 or 3 weeks, 10 years he lived in this country. And when he came back, he opened the first department of Chinese language in Russian Empire. And sinology, science about China, started here in Kazan University. For example, Brazil. Our rector, Ivan Simonov, he was a great astronomer, and he was the only scientist in one of the first Russian round-the-world expeditions. And this expedition in 1820, they opened the Antarctic, the last continent on the Earth. And Ivan Simonov and his expedition, they visited Brazil in the beginning of 19th century, and they had meeting with the king of Brazil.
Oh, that's fascinating.
And we have a lot of great, some connections with the history of this country.
That's really fascinating. Learning history, getting us smarter.
Yes, of course.